Good morning. I just woke up. I'm working the I guess it's called second shift or third shift. I don't know. Anyways, I'll be working from 3 to 3 today. So from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. However, I wanted to make this video really quick. Woo. The last couple of weeks have been incredible for me. I've been seeing 17 everywhere, the number 17 every freaking where. If you run across this video and you're seeing the number 2, look it up. It's an incredible angel number. Hopefully, when you see this number, that your mind is in a centered place and you're in the mode of manifestation. Now, I'm gonna say something. It's gonna be a little strange. I texted with a friend last night. It's really crazy how he and I are connected. Like he will. I don't know. It's like he knows when I'm in a moment of perplex, perplexion, perplexion. I think I'm making that word up. But he hit me up last night and he asked if I was okay, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Can I share something really strange with you?" And he was like, "Yes." So I shared with him an occurrence. That Sunday, I had been at a gas station, and out of the blue, this movie pops into my mind, Raising Dion. Now, I had seen the trailer before, like maybe previous months before that, and I found it interesting, and I was like, that's like the visions that I'm having and the dreams that I'm having of these children that are being born. And so after I see after the movie pops into my head, immediately I think of one specific pregnant person. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So I reached out to her and asked her if she watches the movie. And she said, yes, I watched the first episode. Until then, I didn't know it was a series. I thought it was a movie that went to, I thought it was like one of those movies that you go see or something like that, but it's a actual series. So I was like, interesting. So I reached out to her. She's like, yeah, I watch that show all the time. I love that show. Actually, I watched the first season or something to that effect, she said. And so I said, is it on Netflix? And she said, yes, I think so. And so I immediately went to Netflix and I started watching it, which blew my mind because within the first episode, all the things that I was being told to study came up as topic in these shows. So then I was really perplexed because I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, okay, first I'm being told you have to study these things. I don't know how to say this, but I had been shown over and over that in my culture in the past, like high priests and high priestesses had to study certain topics. There were certain topics that they had to study. And by conquering those topics and passing those topics and getting antiquated with those topics and understanding the functions of those topics, I mean, thoroughly understanding them, they became what was deemed high priest or high priestess. Now, these subjects work hand in hand. And most amazing ways. Now, All my life, I won't say all my life, but when I started paying attention, maybe I was in my maybe early preteen age, I noticed that this would happen. Now, at first, I thought it was an overactive imagination because a lot of things that I went through as a child was chalked up as overactive imagination. And I was fine with that. I was really, really fine with that. In fact, it made me feel unnormal, but it made me feel like my imagination was this thing that was operating all on its own. Now, back to what I'm going to say. And some might find this to be might not believe what I'm going to say, but I'm telling you facts. I have always been able to hear messages from children about to be born. Now, when I say that to you, I realize how crazy and cuckoo it sounds. But I'm telling you, I have always been able to get messages from children about to be born. Not every child, let me just be clear, not every child communicates with me, but some definitely do. And sometimes it can be at the most inopportune times. And I'll hear a, hi, I'm a girl, or hi, I'm a boy, and I'm gonna have da 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 da, and I'm gonna do da 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 da, and I'm just like, what the hell? Uh, this one certain occasion when I was at Walmart that comes to mind right now, and it floored me. There was two. I was watching this married couple, and the mother looked like she was about to give birth any day, and I was like, oh, they're so cute, because they were shopping together and they were getting things. And I'm imagining some of the things were for the nursery. I don't know. I didn't ask. And I turned around and went about cashing myself out. It was a self checkout or whatever. And I'm scanning my things, and all of a sudden I heard, hi. And I was like, hi at first because I was like, then I looked around and I was like, oops, okay. Then I heard, hi again. And I said in my mind this time, hi. And she said, I'm a girl. And I thought, that's nice. Where are you? And she said, I'm with my mom and dad behind you. And I looked, and it was a married couple that I had observed earlier. And she said, oh, what's your name? And I told her my name. And I was kind of like, okay, are you inside your mom? And she said, yeah. And she started saying all these things, just talking, chattering away. And I thought, okay, you do realize we're in a store, and I might look crazy if I start talking back to you. And she's like, she just giggled like she was giggling. And I was like, okay, Christina, you're being absolutely weird. Just stop. And she was just asking all these questions. So I'm telling her, we're in Georgia. I'm saying all these things to her. And then I felt really weird because I felt crazy. So I turned around and I said to the mother, oh, how far along are you? And the mother told me she's in her last trimester. And I said, are you having a girl? And she said, yeah, I am having a girl. And I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. And she was like, her and her husband just started kind of whispering to each other, and they just kind of looked at me. And I was just like, I was just like floored because this baby's like talking, and she's so friendly and so sweet, and she's chattering. And then I'm just like floored. I didn't know what else to say to the baby because I didn't want, it was weird. It was surreal. And even though it happens to me all the time, it's getting all the time before. it's getting very pronounced now, I guess I should say. And it only happens, it's nothing I can do. It's nothing I do. I don't know how to describe that. It's nothing I do on purpose. Because who would do that on purpose? Number one, there's just to me certain things you just don't do. And talking to someone's child that you don't know, I think that would be one of them. But I'm telling you. So the other day, I don't know how to voice this. So, whew, blow that off. But anyways, the other day when this happened on a Sunday, I'm pumping my gas. Out of the blue, I think of the show. Out of the blue, I think of the person. I consider her a friend. She's a soul sister. So she has, I don't even want to talk about it, but she has her own specific gifts. And I won't call her name, but if she runs across this, she'll know who she is. But anyways, so going back, so on that day when I'm pumping my gas, I see the show and I see the person, I think of the person. Immediately I got, there'll be a need for us to sever the points of contact. Now, that goes into something I saw now, maybe 4 years ago, when I had this, I'll call it an epiphany. The reason we're going to have to separate ourselves is that we're going to have to make ourselves ready to receive the downloads from the Most High. And I say that because when these downloads first started coming to me, I was shown several different prophets in scripture that had to go into the wilderness to seek alone time. Now, in seeking alone time, these aren't antisocial people. These are people having to converse with the Most High before a certain thing or a certain event occurs. Listen to me when I say this to you. Those who know that run across this video will know exactly what this means. They won't need any help deciphering or interpreting. They will just know what it means. The things we seek within ourselves, the things that we are trying to discover within ourselves, these children that are being born, they already have the understanding. So you can consider them professionals. So what I would say to you is observe these children, because they will have a knowing like no other. It will be surpassed any knowing we ever thought we had when we were here and when we were younger. It will surpass that. They will be professors, if you will, in these things, and this knowledge, in metaphysical and physical, and all these things. Now, I have always seen my children before their birth, and they always look the exact same as in the dream, as in the conversation that the two of us have with each other, the personalities, everything spot on. Now, I don't know how to say this. I had two boys and a girl. The boys came first and the girl came last. But I saw them out of sequence, if that makes sense. I didn't see them in order, in perfect order. I saw them out of sequence. They've always talked early, they've always walked early, they always, when they were younger and I would talk with them, they had, anyways, well, they had understandings of things that I didn't have understanding of, and I would just take it in and absorb it and learn it. Excuse me. Now, maybe 2 years ago, I started having dreams of children. Two twin boys at first only, and they were very, in these dreams, these twin boys were very, what's the word I'm looking for? They were very much in syncopation, if you know what I'm saying. Like, if you had a tick-tock clock and the clock went tick-tock, tick-tock, and as they moved together in unison, if that makes sense, and they did things like in a mirrored fashion. So sometimes it was just uncanny to watch them, but they were in tune with each other because they telepathically communicated with one another. And I was like, I'm okay. I would just watch them and they would move and they look like one specific person, um, that I dealt with in my life. So I found that odd. Like, what? Like, oh. But, anyways, in the dream, as I was in turmoil where I was at the time, and I decided I kept getting the message to leave that particular place that I was at. So that's what I did. And thinking the dreams would stop and become something else. And then once I left, I started dreaming of triplets instead of twins. So it was the two boys and a little girl. And I'm thinking, what the hell? I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have a husband. I don't even look to be making children in the near future or the future. So what is this about? So then I was just questioning, like, what are these dreams about? They're so strange. So I decided to take it upon myself because I thought there was something really, really wrong with me, because that's what somebody implied to me. So I read the scripture from pillar to post, from front to back, up and down, sideways. I read it and then I listened to it at the same time of me reading it. I took notes and I meditated on it and I was absorbed by the word. I'm telling you, I thought I was losing my marbles. I was trying to find my marbles, is what I was trying to do. So it was really strange. So I'm in a whole nother state and I'm having these, I don't even know what to call them. I'm having these things and I'm like going through fast. I'm taking myself through these like specific fasting techniques. And the sister that I was with, she was like a life coach. So she had understanding of herbs and all these different things. And I'm just like, I'm in this bubble and I'm thinking, I don't want her to think I'm weird, but I know to most people I'm weird and I'm trying to be normal. And it was mostly in those times of trying to be normal where chaos would break out. And I felt uncomfortable because I wasn't working part of the time. And then I got a job and it was an extreme, it was like the dead yard shift and the night, whatever they call it, the graveyard shift. And strange things were happening, and I chalked it up to the graveyard shift. But I was fasting, and so I said, well, maybe I should come off my fast. But it was a thing that my body was just doing on its own after a while, and I couldn't eat at certain times. And then the times that I could eat, I tried to like gorge out on fruit or whatever. And then that led me in a problem because fruit are cleansers. So if you eat a lot of fruit, you got to eat a lot of vegetables because you got to offset the cleansing. You have to rebuild. I'm trying not to make this a long video, but anywho, I'm seeing these children. So I'm seeing triplets now, two identical twin boys and a little girl. So in the dream, I'm seeing these children, and these children were in a house, and we're actually a family, and we're going about our day, and their father is there. And I'm like, do I tell him what they're doing? Do I not tell him? So in the dream, I say to him, our babies can do things. And he says, I know. That's beautiful. And I'm thinking, he don't get it. So let me take him to the room. So in their room, for protection, I have specific crystals. I won't say what those specific crystals are. But in their room, I have these crystals for protection there for them. And I say to the babies, because we communicate mentally, Daddy needs to see what you can do. Like, Daddy needs to see this. Because I'm not going to be the only one knowing what y'all can do. So when he comes into the room, he sits into the chair and he's playing on his phone or something. He's doing something. He's preoccupied with something else. Can't remember specifically what it was. So he's doing that. And then the kid, the children start doing things with each other where they're passing like toys back and forth. Because remember, they're babies, so they're in cribs. So the cribs are spaced throughout the room, and they're passing toys back and forth to each other in the crib. He's totally not seeing this. So I'm saying he doesn't see it. So was for nothing. So then the oldest boy telepathically moves a bear from the whole other side of the room, and it moves in front of him, which catches his attention. His jaw drops, and he's like, he's just, I don't know, he's just flabbergasted, and he looks, and he says, when did this start? When did this start? Like, when did this start happening? And I said, it pretty much happened immediately when they were born, because they were born at home. It was a home birth. And he was just kind of like, are you kidding me? And I was like, no, they've kind of been doing this for a while. And I needed you to know, and because I need your help protecting them and keeping this hush hush. We don't want them to end up some science project. And he just kind of sat there, and he said, I need to think. So he walked up, and I'm out of the room. Excuse me. And he went for a drive to think about it. When he came back, there was a talk or discussion. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe those were my grandchildren. I don't know. Because your grandchildren can still be your children, because like, listen, when I tell you I don't have a boyfriend, I don't have none of that. I don't have none of that going on. So I don't know quite yet what that dream was about. But I guess in time it will reveal itself to me. Anywho, so Sunday when I'm pumping the gas, I get the download again about removing the points of contact. That's about the government. That's about moving out of quote unquote normal societies and going off grid, so these children can grow up and be happy and explore their gifts on their own, out of the prying eye of public and cameras. And it really hit me that we're going to actually have to do it. I mean, the more I learn, the more I know this is happening, and it's going to happen really soon. It seems like really soon for me. I could be wrong, I don't know. But these children are remarkable. I've seen them. They have no fear. But somehow they make things so much better because they can read like even a temperature change, like the slightest of temperature change. They're in tune with themselves. They're in tune with the universe around them. They know who they are, and they know what they need to do. And just by being in the present, you feel safe. In this one particular vision that I had years ago at a painting situation, we were doing painting with a church group, and it seemed like just a couple, I don't know how long, it seemed like 5 minutes, but I know it was just a couple seconds, and I saw these children, like they were young people, and young, like they ranged from 30 to younger, and they all had these like black suits on, like these all over suits that protected them, and it was kind of like the Fantastic Four suits situation. And they were, myself and some others were in front of them, and oddly enough, I saw angels, like there were angels in front of them, and I was standing like with the angels, and we were asking them questions. I was asking them questions, and they were giving me answers, and they were talking about the fruit of the Spirit, and they were giving different answers to some things. I don't remember what those were. I don't have any knowledge of those things that they were quoting, but I remember walking in front of them and being like, what are we doing? And why would we send these babies to fight, to do this war, or to confront this thing that they have to confront? I don't really know what it was that I was thinking, but I'm walking back and forth in front of them. And there to the left, to the right of me, as far as the eye can see, as far back as the horizons, and they're all talking in unison. And nobody's messing up what they say. It was surreal, and I just felt power from the dream. And I remember from the vision, and because to me, I call daydreams dreams, and I call night dreams night dreams. I call them daydreams and night dreams. So I'm walking in front of them, and I get to where my children are. And for a split second, I almost break down, and I'm almost about to cry. And I am assuming it's my higher self says, don't you let that tear fall. You do not let that tear fall. And somehow I sucked that joint back up somewhere else. It didn't manifest, but I was just like, pull yourself together, because they can't see you emotional. They can't see that. And quickly I control it and put it back where it belongs, because it didn't belong in that moment with the children. I call them children, even though some of them are 30. It's just, I guess it was my thought process. I'm older than them. To me, they're children. And I had this fearless want to protect them and fearless need to protect them. And I wanted the best for them. So I felt like they were all my children, even though it was impossible. But I'm saying to you, these children, these people, these young people were fearless. They understood all the laws of the universe and created new ones. They knew things we can't even fathom. And they were ready to do what it was they were sent here to do. And I'm telling you, in their presence, I don't even know how to explain it to you, but in their presence, it was sheer and utter beauty. Okay, so I'm going through these things that I'm having to learn about different things that I saw in this show. I won't say what specifically, but in this show, watching the first couple of episodes, it's all the things that I was downloaded I need to study. It's all the things that are downloaded that in our culture, lineages, families would teach these things to their children, the next generation, because they would need to know it in order to be called a high priest or high priestess. And there's things that we have forgotten. Some of us think they're evil, and they are not. So a large amount of us are afraid to even understand what it is we need to know moving into the future. Okay? So I'm trying to take this serious. And I'm trying to study these things. And I know there are others who are trying to study the same things. Only I was like, okay, what does this have to do with an herb? And I thought maybe I was getting it from Wakanda, the Black Panther movie. But it's not. There's a specific herb used to put yourself in a meditative state to learn what you need to learn to move forward. And I've ordered it. I won't say the name of the herb because every time we say something, they remove it. So I won't give the name of that. I'm being led not to. This is about to happen. I feel it in my bones. I'm telling you. And our children will be our greatest teachers. That's incredible to me. But not foreign. I have been seeing 17 repeatedly everywhere. And when you look it up, it means something very significant. Like, I had a question as to why certain things that would happen to me. And I was like, that makes no sense. How can I behave like this sign? Or how can I have an understanding of how to do this, that, and the third? That was our job, to understand these things. And morph if need be, to change your habits so that you confuse people or they couldn't read you as readily. So, and those children are coming back to me. Like, in the dream state, like you have to remain positive. You have to stay positive. You have to vibrate high, you have to go back to your affirmation, stick with it, stick with the meditation. And I was thinking, like, how could this, like, okay, I guess it's all in the realm of my mind. So, of course, they know. But the hive mind is so real. Like, we pick up bits and pieces from each other. And I don't know if it's set people or it's just what we need when we need it. I don't really know. But I'm telling you, it's going to be incredible. I don't have fear that I thought I would have. It's just going to be like a family reunion when we migrate toward one another in these villages in the wild. We will get all the love that we never got in childhood. We will receive all the care that we never got in childhood. We will be repaired of those wounds. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Our electromagnetic auras in our chakras in our metaphysical bodies will be healed from these villages with one another. It will kind of be natural. It's going to happen. It's got to happen. A lot of it from the protection, being somewhere secluded, protected from the eye, whether it be video, cameras, or whatnot. They knew this was coming. They knew. Why do you think there's a video everywhere you go? However, you will all be protected. You will be protected. There will be no need to fear. You will create these symbiotic families and communities that feed what needs to be fed and repaired before these things take place. I'm telling you, I'm sitting here and I'm crying because it's so, it's such a remarkable thing. I wish I could make you understand what it's going to look like. But I'm telling you, ooh, these babies, these children will be in contact with each other. It's nothing for them. Like, using their mind is easy. If they are able to do these things before they're born, like, they're able to communicate